Good evening, Indiana High School football family. We welcome you to the 16th annual Griddy's program. My name is Paul Condry. I'm the publisher of the Indiana Football Digest, the founder of the Regional Radio Sports Network, and the creator of the Griddy's program. On behalf of our long-term team partner, the Indianapolis Colts, we want to thank you for your longtime support of Indiana High School football. For the third straight year, we come to you virtually from our studios here in beautiful Mishawaka, Indiana. As many as you know, the National Football League has kept a tight lid on things as COVID-19 were unavailable to have the Griddy's banquet at the Colts complex at the Gridiron Hall on 56th Street in Indianapolis. Our coverage today of the Griddy's program is being presented in part by our wonderful friends at the United States Marine Corps, the Indianapolis Colts, Qubit Networks, On God's Team Ministries, the Indiana Football Digest, and the Regional Radio Sports Network. Many people have asked me over the years, where did you come up with the idea of putting together a program such as the Griddy's? Well, it's pretty simple. Why not get together with all your favorite football people across the Hoosier State, have the biggest football party imaginable so we can honor those great student athletes, coaches, as well as the many people who are actively involved in Indiana high school football. On behalf of our broadcast team and our publications team at the Regional Radio Sports Network and the Indiana Football Digest, we welcome you to the 2022 Griddy's football program.
Now let's take a look at our 2021 state runner-up teams. In Class 1A, the Adams Central Flying Jets with an overall record of 13-2, led by Michael Mosier. In Class 2A, the Evansville Mater Dei Wildcats with an overall record of 12-3, led by head coach Mike Gable. In Class 3A, the Brebeuf Jesuit Braves with an overall record of 12-3, led by Matt Geschke. In Class 4A, the Northridge Raiders with an overall record of 10-5, led by Chad Eppley. In Class 5A, the Zionsville Eagles with an overall record of 9-6, led by head coach Scott Turnquist. And in Class 6A, the Westfield Shamrocks with an overall record of 12-2, led by head coach Jake Gilbert.
Now let's take a look at our 2021 state champions. In Class 1A, Indianapolis Lutheran, the Saints, under the direction of head coach Dave Pasch, finished the season a perfect 15-0. In Class 2A, the Andrew 59ers brought the state championship trophy back home to Northwest Indiana with a record of 12-3 under the direction of head coach Chris Skinner. In Class 3A, Gibson Southern, the Titans, will be always remembered for their state championship under the direction of head coach Nick Hart. His team finished 14-1 on the season. In Class 4A, Mount Vernon Fortville won the state championship under the direction of head coach Vince Leidy. The Marauders finished 14-1. The Indianapolis Cathedral Fighting Irish won another state championship with a record of 14-1 under the direction of head coach Bill Peebles. And in Class 6A, the Trojans of Center Grove won their second consecutive title with a perfect 14-0 season under the direction of Coach Eric Moore. Our 2021 Coaches of the Year are Class 1A, Dave Pash, Indianapolis Lutheran High School. Class 2A, Todd Mason of Eastside High School. Class 3A, Nick Hart, Gibson Southern High School. Class 4A, Vince Leidy, Mount Vernon Fortville High School. Class 5A, Bill Peebles, Indianapolis Cathedral High School. Class 6A, Eric Moore, Center Grove High School. Our 2021 Assistant Coaches of the Year. Offensive Coach, Toby Jacobs, Mount Vernon Fortville High School. Our Defensive Coach of the Year, Richard Green, Monroe Central High School. Our 2021 Lifetime Achievement Award, the newest member of the 300 Win Club, Eastbrook High School's Jeff Adamson. Our 2021 Excellence in Football Media Award goes to the legendary Walt Ferber from WITZ in Jasper, Indiana. Our 2021 Jason KUNTZ Badge of Courage Award goes to the legendary Steve Balish, who recently passed away. 50 years as a varsity head coach in multiple sports at Hobart High School. The 2021 Brad Breyefogle Spirit of Sport Award goes to Joe Atria and Denny Hamilton of Maryville High School. Those two assistant coaches were a part of 300 wins over the course of their illustrious career at Maryville High School. The 2021 Players of the Year Award go to Class 1A, Montazzi Clay, quarterback, Indianapolis Lutheran High School. Class 2A, junior, Drake Bowen, linebacker, running back, Andren High School. Class 3A, Brady Allen, senior quarterback, Gibson Southern High School. 4A, Keegan Bell, senior, running back, linebacker, Mount Vernon Fortville High School. Class 5A, sophomore, Danny O'Neill, quarterback, Indianapolis Cathedral High School. And in 6A, Caden Curry, senior defensive lineman, tight end, Center Grove High School. 2021 Big School All-State Team, classes 4A, 5A, and 6A. Starting with the big boys up front. Offensive lineman, center, Grove High School, Sammy Burris. Offensive lineman, senior, Zionsville High School's Joey Tanona. From Leo High School, Landon Livingston, senior offensive lineman. From New Prairie High School, offensive lineman, senior Hunter Whitenack. And rounding out the big guys up front, Fort Wayne Snyder's own DJ Moore, the senior offensive lineman. Our Big School All-State team quarterback, Center Grove's Taven Jackson. In the backfield, Micah Hauser, senior running back, Westfield High School. Colin Price, senior running back, Zionsville High School. Senior running back, the Tank, Lavarian Logan from Maryville High School. Wide receiver, Omar Cooper, a senior wide receiver from Lawrence North High School. Tight end, from Fishers High School, senior Jeffrey Simmons. Let's move over to the defense. Caden Curry, defensive lineman, Center Grove High School. Senior defensive lineman, Kenny Grant, Maryville High School. DeJuan Eccles, senior defensive lineman, Warren Central. And rounding out the front four on the defense, senior defensive lineman, Popeye Williams of Westfield High School. Linebackers, Keegan Bell, senior from Mount Vernon, Fortville High School. Dominic Moon, senior linebacker, Fort Wayne Snyder High School. Jeff Utzinger, senior linebacker, Indianapolis Cathedral High School. Defensive back, Javon Tracy, Decatur Central High School. From Brownsburg High School, R.J. Miles. Junior, Day McCullough, defensive back, Bloomington South High School, who's now enrolled at South Bend St. Joseph High School. Senior, Bryce Llewellyn, Indianapolis Cathedral High School. And our special teamers, Nick Easters, senior punter from Brownsburg, and senior kicker, Ben Gomez from Indianapolis Cathedral High School.
Now let's take a look at our 2021 Small School All-State team, which represents from 3A, 2A, and from 1A. Starting off with the offensive lineman, from Lawrenceburg High School, senior Ashton Craig. From Charlestown High School, senior Keontae Goodwin. From Evansville Mater Dei, senior Nicholas Boots. From Gibson Southern High School, senior Cade Virgin. And rounding out the offensive lineman from Eastside High School, senior Isaiah Fuentes. From Gibson Southern High School, senior quarterback Brady Allen. From Indianapolis Lutheran, quarterback senior Montazie Clay. Looking at the running backs now, from Clarksville High School, junior Robert Lamar. Now taking a look at our wide receivers. First up, from Fort Wayne Bishop Luers, Brody Glenn. From West Lafayette, senior Cannon Melkai. From Brebeuf Jesuit, senior Max Walters. Now let's take a look over on the defensive side of the football. Starting off with our defensive lineman. From West Lafayette High School, senior Marier Omandi. Another defensive lineman from Brebeuf Jesuit, senior Joe Strickland. Our first linebacker, junior from Andrean, Drake Bowen. Senior linebacker from Eastbrook, Jason Hale. From Mishawaka Marion, senior linebacker, Setefano Sete. From Gibson Southern, senior linebacker, Levi Dickerson. From North Judson St. Pierre, linebacker, Owen Frazier. Junior linebacker from Indianapolis Cecina Memorial, Tamir Woods. Now we take a look. Our senior defensive back from Indianapolis Lutheran, Jake Pash. Senior defensive back from Eastbrook, Isaiah Dalton. And senior defensive back from Garrett High School, Trey Richards. And finally, our special teams. First up, senior punter from Andrean, Nicholas Tovar. And finally, senior kicker from West Noble High School, Julio Macias.
Now let's introduce you to the 2022 Prime Time 25. From Andrean High School, Drake Bowen. The 6'3", 220-pound, two-time All-State, All-Conference performer was instrumental in the 59ers' 12-3 run to the Class 2A state crown. In addition to recording 235 career tackles, with 35 for loss, 11 quarterback sacks, 4 interceptions, and 5 fumble recoveries, he also ran for 1,185 yards with 23 touchdowns.
Next up is Luke Burgess from New Palestine, offensive lineman, defensive lineman. The 6'7", 285-pound standout helped the Class 5A sectional champion Dragons with an 8-4 overall record rack up more than 4,000 yards of total offense, including nearly 2,700 yards on the ground last fall.
C.J. Davis, Fort Wayne Northrop High School, defensive back, wide receiver, and all-conference and all-state selection. The 5'11", 180-pounder was a force on both sides of the field for the Bruins, along with having 34 receptions for 620 yards with 7 touchdowns. He also recorded 39 tackles and had 5 interceptions.
Ben Decker from Noblesville High School, offensive lineman, defensive lineman, entering his 3rd season up front. The 6'6", 285-pound All-State and All-Conference standout helped the Millers to average 315 yards on the ground during the 2021 campaign.
Samarion Ford, Lawrence North High School. This linebacker defensive back goes 6 foot, 190 pounds, earned all-conference, all-county honors by helping the Class 6A sectional champion Wildcats to their first title since 1990. He ended up with 90 tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, and 3 interceptions.
Trey Gibson, the running back from Hobart. The 6 foot, 190-pound All-State and All-Conference choice rambled 223 times for 1,655 yards with 33 touchdowns and caught 26 passes for 374 yards with 3 scores for the Brickies.
Kendrick Gilbert, Indianapolis Cathedral High School. This 6'5", 285-pound defensive lineman earned All-State honors and laid it all on the line for the 2-time Class 5A state champion Irish with 35 tackles, including 8 for a loss and 5 quarterback sacks.
Tag Gott from Northridge High School. This quarterback and linebacker at 6 foot, 205 pounds, the All-Stater, switched from running back to signal caller to help the Raiders to a Class 4A state runner-up finish, along with going 71 of 154 for over 1,100 yards with 9 touchdowns. He also ran 256 times for 1,110 yards with 15 scores. Defensively, he racked up 92 tackles with 12 for loss and 4 quarterback sacks.
Leighton Jones, Brownsburg High School, this two-way player, tight end defensive lineman, along with being all-state, all-conference for the 6A sectional champion Bulldogs. This 6'3", 270-pound standout finished 3rd in the state in the past 2 years at the 285-pound weight class in wrestling. He also is committed to the University of Iowa.
Trevor Lauk from Indianapolis Roncalli. He's an offensive lineman. The 6'7", 290-pound all-conference and all-state choice paved the way for the 3-time Class 4A sectional champion Royals to win 24 straight games and the 2020 Class 4A state title. He will also be attending the University of Iowa.
Maryville High School wide receiver running back Justin Marshall. In addition to hauling in 52 receptions for 1,249 yards with 18 touchdowns, this 5'11", 185-pound All-State, All-Conference performer also scampered 55 times for 703 yards and 7 scores for the 3-time Class 6A sectional and regional champion Pirates, who finished 12-1 on the season.
Day McCullough, the defensive back, now at South Bend St. Joseph. Prior to transferring to the Indians, this 6'2", 190-pound all-area, all-conference, and all-state selection proved to be an all-around force for the Class 5A sectional champion Panthers. Along with 30 tackles, he contributed 2 interceptions, including 1 returned for a touchdown.
From North Decatur High School, running back defensive back Reed Messer. This 6'1", 191-pound 2-time captain garnered All-State and All-Conference honors by running 267 times for 1,579 yards with 22 touchdowns. He also hauled in 44 passes for 380 yards with 3 scores. He also converted 19 of 25 extra points and tallied 49 tackles for the Chargers. Next
up, the defensive lineman from Lawrence Central High School, Josh Mickens. The The 6'3", 222-pounder was an all-conference and all-state choice for the Bears by recording 78 tackles with 23 for loss, 12 quarterback sacks, a fumble recovery, and a touchdown.
From Mishawaka High School, two-way lineman Dawson Nowacki, a 3-year veteran, the 6'3", 290-pound all-state, all-conference selection paved the way for the Cavemen to accumulate more than 8,500 yards on the ground over the last 3 campaigns.
Tavion Ortman, the linebacker and defensive lineman from New Prairie High School. The 6'5", 215-pound standout earned all-state and all-conference accolades by racking up 112 tackles with 14 for loss, 3 fumble recoveries, and an interception for the Class 4A sectional and regional champion Cougars, who finished 11-3.
From Mooresville High School, quarterback Nick Patterson, the 6'2", 225-pound all-state and all-conference selection proved to be a big two-way threat in his second season as a starter for the Pioneers. In addition to completing 199 of 282 passes for 2,970 yards with 37 touchdowns, he also ran the ball 82 times for 374 yards and 7 scores.
Asen Stevens, the quarterback and linebacker from Decatur Central. Before going down with a season-ending injury at the midway point, the 6'4", 225-pound, 2-time all-conference member threw for 296 yards with 3 touchdowns, ran for 299 yards with 4 scores, and recorded 35 tackles for the Hawks.
Dylan Thieneman from Westfield High School, the 6'1", 195-pound, 2-time all-state choice, was instrumental in leading the Shamrocks to back-to-back Class 6A state runner-up finishes with 106 tackles, with 8 for a loss, an interception, and a block kick.
Nick Thompson, the defensive back and wide receiver from Fort Wayne Bishop Luers. In addition to registering 44 tackles and 4 interceptions, the 6'2", 195-pound all-state and all-conference member also had 7 receptions for 119 yards with a touchdown and averaged 32.5 yards per kick return for the Knights.
From Warren Central High School, wide receiver Joseph Walker, the 6'4", 215-pound all-state, all-conference performer, hauled in 27 passes for 574 yards with 10 touchdowns for the Warriors. He also was a starter on the Warren Central boys basketball team.
Drew Weinzenfappel from Evansville Memorial, the offensive lineman, defensive lineman at 6'2", 245-pounder, was an all-conference and all-state selection who enters his 4th year up front for the Class 4A sectional and regional champion Tigers, who rolled up almost 4,500 total yards a year ago.
Sam West, Greensburg High School, quarterback, tight end, along with being a standout baseball player, the 6'4", 220-pounder, who also earned all-state, all-conference honors, also threw for 1,184 yards with 12 touchdowns and rushed for 457 yards and 7 scores for the Pirates. He is committed to play for Tom Allen at Indiana University.
Center Grove's running back, Drew Wheat, the 5'10", 175-pound all-conference and all-state selection, had a big role in the Trojans' run to back-to-back undefeated Class 6A state championships with 130 carries for 1,003 yards and 16 total touchdowns.
Mason Wunderlich, Evansville Modern Day High School, quarterback, a 2-year starter, the 6'220-pound all-conference and all-state signal caller, did his fair share to help the Wildcats reach the Class 2A state championship game by completing 188 of 349 passes for 2,671 yards with 28 touchdowns. Once again, I want to thank the United States Marine Corps, the Indianapolis Colts, Qubit Networks, On God's Team Ministries, the Indiana Football Digest, and the Regional Radio Sports Network for making this program possible. I would also thank the legions of football fans, parents, student athletes, and coaches for buying the Indiana Football Digest all these years. The 30th Indiana Football Digest will be available at your local high school, select Barnes & Noble's bookstores, and of course on our e-store at indianafootballdigest.com. Congratulations once again to our award winners, and we are hoping that you all have a great and safe 2022 football season. On behalf of our football family and my family, God bless you all. I am Paul Condry, Semper Fidelis.